It was a much touted mission and a first for North Korea. It was one with devious ambitions. But as fate would have it, Pyongyang's spy satellite mission ended as a failure. The newly developed Kolyma-1 rocket was supposed to put in orbit the North's first spy satellite to keep a watch on US military activities, but it crashed in the sea. A failure with such missions is not entirely uncommon, but what's to note here is that North Korea, which usually keeps the biggest and smallest of its missions discreet, admitted to this failure. The state media blamed the unstable and unreliable new engine system and fuel for the crash, but said that Pyongyang will soon attempt a second launch. Neighboring South Korea said it had recovered what is believed to be parts of the space launch vehicle, including this large cylindrical object attached to a buoy. The satellite launch, which happened early Wednesday, triggered air raid sirens as well as evacuation alarms in South Korea and Japan. Now, given the omnipresent tensions in the Korean peninsula, it is a precautionary system. But the notices were later withdrawn with no danger or damage reported.
I was a little confused by the alert message this morning, but I wasn't that worried, as North Korea used to do these things. I rather hope that the alert message would have more accurate information. If they send another alert message in the future, it would be better to include instructions.
The confusion regarding the false alert nagged residents in South Korea and Japan alike. And analysts say that it's time for both countries to fix their systems to maintain faith among the people.
How do they ensure that they can trust in their local authorities? And I feel like every time in this case, if we're talking about North Korea, every time that North Korea fires a missile of some sort, and there's possibility that it may either fly over Hokkaido or be landing within Japan's EEZ, territorial waters, whatever, that people, I'm not entirely sure how serious the Japanese people in this case, or Korean people, or South Korean people will take when it comes to following guidance from authorities.
Japan, South Korea and the US have condemned North Korea's spy satellite launch. A senior Tokyo official said that they held a joint call with Washington and Seoul after the launch, where the three agreed to staying vigilant with a high sense of urgency. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres also condemned the satellite launch. He said that any launch by Pyongyang using ballistic missile technology was contrary to UN Security Council resolutions. Meanwhile, stepping between the peninsular tensions, China has called on all parties to sit down and address the root cause of the issue.
The current situation on the Korean peninsula is clear, and it is not what China wants to see. The only way to prevent the situation from further deteriorating is for all parties to address the root cause of the lack of a peaceful mechanism on the Korean peninsula. Following a dual-track approach, meaningful dialogue should be resumed to address the balance, each party's legitimate concerns.